Welcome back to the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show with Wisk and Kev, coming to you live from the Salisbury Center studios on the Wylde Style Network.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
So we got a new edition of What Are the Odds? And we did one of these a little while ago.
Our second time playing What Are the Odds. First of all, let me comment, the design is much better. It's an improved design.
It is.
I did not design this at 8:30 in the morning. But then, so it might be a little flat, like the gray on the slides, but I was trying to do a chalkboard. I like the odds. Odds makers use a chalkboard.
So you were at school and...
They don't have chalkboards anymore.
They have chalkboard templates all over the place that you can use for Photoshop, right?
Well, I didn't want to overdo the chalkboard. I want to make an homage to the chalkboard without doing a chalkboard.
We could be rolling in a little bit of Schools Out while we're looking at the chalkboard.
Obviously, I don't know if I've hit it because I'm still explaining it.
Chalkboard.
I'm implying chalkboard, exactly. Yeah. I mean, maybe I shouldn't do that because it shows our age, because you brought up chalkboards in schools, but they don't have chalkboards in schools, really.
It's been a long time since I've been in a school. Even my kids have been out of school been out.
Most have electronic whiteboards.
Smart boards.
Yes. Or that's a specific.
They have whiteboards now.
Yes. And then
whiteboards and smart boards.
The marker boards. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And no grades.
Well, they have grades.
Oh, yeah, it's for the young kids.
That's a whole other topic and show we could get into.
Yeah. Hang in there, Jeff. Only another year to go.
All right. So this is the Foo Fighter edition of What Are the Odds?
What are the odds? So and please play with us. So if you're not watching now live and you're watching this later, think of your answers as we're formulating our answers. We did this before we did a Motley Crue edition. This is going to be a Foo Fighters edition.
And before we hit that first question, we did mention, so we've got the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show page on Facebook. Mm-hmm. We're on Instagram, and we have the email, Stand Up and Shout, all spelt out, no spaces, Stand Up and Shout Rock Show at gmail.com. And we're working on a couple of things for upcoming episodes to get some more engagement from you all as the audience. So if you have any ideas, any topics, anything that you'd like us to talk about, and we'll figure out a way to hopefully build this out and get some more participation. We definitely want to hear that from you. So
we do it live, then we can debate our odds on all of these questions.
Maybe do a little polling.
Mm-hmm. We were pretty close to our odds last time we did this. There was one big split between you and I. We'll see where this goes this time around.
All right. Fire it away.
Here we go. All right. I'm going to read. Is that cool?
That's fine.
Right. What are the odds that the Foo Fighters will score a #1 song from their new album that's being released tonight? So that very timely.
Yep.
Yes.
But here we are.
Which that was in terms of the festival shirts. That was the logo on the festival shirts.
Okay.
But here we are. Yeah.
So you wrote this question.
I did.
So when you say a #1 song,
well, that's you're gonna look at you. You're gonna call me #1 on what?
Yes.
Let's go with let's go traditional Billboard charts.
All right. So just the normal top 100 singles on Billboard.
Because it's my understanding they've had 11 over the course of their career. Billboard #1s.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So what are the odds that they will score that again and make it an even dozen?
So I would say, and I've, some of the songs have been released, and I love what I've heard so far. Mm-hmm. Rescued, of the 4 songs that have come out, I think is phenomenal.
Yep.
I'm hoping it gets a bit more of a bump because it's been out for a number of weeks and it's already dropping. It peaked around number 15 on the hard rock charts and it's dropping a little bit. So I'm hoping it'll get another kick.
You were so good
when
at doing
the album
homework.
Comes out.
You so did your homework.
So assuming there's going to be another song or two of that kind of in that same vein, I'm going to say 80%.
Wow, you're going high. Look, this is not a knock on the Foo Fighters. To me, it's the state of rock and roll right now. Like, I'm a little bit disheartened with, kind of what those kids are listening to. So, I think...
Can a rock song go #1 now?
Right.
Is it even possible?
Right. I think you're right. That's kind of why I picked on this particular question, because it's bigger than the Foo Fighters. And I think that's maybe like going to be the bigger theme of this conversation, because the Foo Fighters is a very large rock band still. And obviously it garnered 60, 70,000 eyeballs, out at the Sonic Temple Music Festival, in that packed stadium, and which is great for rock and roll. You still got a band that can do that. But can they pull this off? Where
was it all older people and their kids?
There was.
That was it. There wasn't any like kids by themselves. It was kids. If they were there, they were with their parents for the most part, probably.
There were some. I would say that groups of teenagers into their 20s that were there independently. But I'm going to say it's some. I'm not going to say it was the majority. The majority there, I would guess, was over 35. I'll put it that way in terms of the crowd.
Yeah, well, and that's a bit of a different. I mean, granted, a lot of the bands that were there all 4 days kind of fill a similar demographic for the most part.
Very true.
But all of their shows, because outside of the festivals they're doing 15, 20 just shows where they're headlining, and they're completely sold out. So it may be the same group, but my guess is you might have a little bit younger crowd that's showing up. I mean, obviously, with Taylor Hawkins' unfortunate passing away, they've been in the news.
Yes.
So I think that's going to garner them some new fans.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, looking at Morgan Wallen is number one on the Hot 100 right now. So it's like, that's a totally different venue. And that's what's kind of popular right now. And Taylor Swift and, other stuff, the more pop type stuff. So it's a tough inroad. I thought the Metallica would peak a little bit higher when it came out. And it got nowhere close.
Right.
So it could be the state of rock and roll right now.
Yeah. Well, so my number ultimately is going to be 33%.
The problem with the state of rock right now is that there's nobody young into it, doing it hardly at all. I mean, you guys go to more shows than I do, and some of the young rock bands that are out now.
Yeah.
What's their audience like? It's probably people like us going to see the young rock bands, because I look at Gavin Evick and it's a bunch of 21-year-olds, great kids, great rock and roll. They do a great job, but the people that are coming to see him are still older people.
Right. I'm still I still have some optimism. I'm still optimistic and have optimism in Dave Grohl's songwriting. So that's why I went as high as 33, but I'm not going to go higher than that. Just not because of the Foo Fighters, just because of the state of rock and roll.
Got it. Okay. So question number 2.
You can read. I read the last one.
So, what are the odds that this is the Foo Fighters' last album?
Ooh. So you want me to go first?
You can go first.
This one stings a little bit. Oh man, I'm gonna go 67%. I'm gonna go 2/3. I think it's likely. And hearing maybe I'm a little bit biased, coming off of the show that I just went to at that festival, at the Sonic Temple Music Festival. There's a lot of nostalgia and the conversation in between songs from Dave Grohl. So in that nostalgia, it's he basically even admitted that he's thought of giving up multiple times, but the fans are the ones that bring him back out. So that to me communicates a possible exit from what he has been doing over years and years and years. They did just reform the band though. I don't know. I want to go lower than 67, but I'm going to stay with 67.
We might be a little bit more divergent on this one.
I love it. Two.
Yeah, I would say I'm kind of waffling around on this, but it's low. So I would say, me personally, I think it's 10%.
Wow, that low. Because super low.
For the most part, they're still relatively young, and there's money to be made.
That's true.
I think, and I get it, I can totally understand where he's coming from, because not only did Taylor Hawkins die, but his mom also passed away this past year. So, he's coming from a very vulnerable, emotional point of view. So I can certainly understand, that he gave it a lot of thought and, do I still want to keep doing this? But the fact that, Taylor's passing was the perfect avenue to step out if he wanted to do that.
Sure.
And even go do something else.
Right.
And they chose, for the fans, and for the money,
right,
get it back together. So I think we will see another Foo Fighters album.
You know, I mean, but you don't think that they're going to turn into a touring band versus putting out continued new music?
Well, I think, you know, obviously there's going to be a desire for them to perform, you know? So I think they are going to do a tour. It's going to be pretty extensive. I was impressed that this album came together, frankly, as quickly as it did. And it was very, very quiet.
Yeah.
And when you consider where they were coming from with what happened to the band, obviously there was a lot of material and emotion that you could feed off of to write an album. But frankly, for someone this popular, I was surprised it came together as quickly as it did.
You're persuading me a little. I don't know if I'm not going to change. I'm going to stick with the 60s, but you know, I'm buying into more what you're saying this one than the last question.
All right.
I say that with love.
I appreciate that.
All right.
Question number 3.
Lou or Scott, you want to chime in on any of these?
No, I think I kind of agree with both of you in certain aspects because I feel like they may tour, but I think that they're not going to. You going all right? I don't know if they're going to do a new album though, because think about it, Aerosmith, any of those guys. Once you get like Dave Grohl's our age,
right?
Maybe a year older,
right?
I think
a couple years, yeah.
Yeah. So, do any of those guys have they written new albums after like 55, 60, or did they just tour off their old stuff?
Right. Yeah.
Do you still have it in you at 55, 60 to write stuff unless you're like Paul McCartney or something? But even
as Dee Snider says, I'm not angry anymore.
Yeah.
I have nothing to write about. I'm not angry anymore.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that they're not going to do another album. I'd be on the low end with that, like the 33%.
So
they're going to do a new album.
Yeah. So the other flip of that. So the question was, what's the odds that this is their last album?
So I'm with you, like 67, like 2/3 probably.
That's you've hit the difficulty of odd makers. You know what I mean? Like that's why this is a tough job. Yeah. All right. The next one. I'm going to read this one.
Okay.
You read the last one. We're going to take turns.
Sure.
All right. What are the odds that Josh Freese is a permanent member of the Foo Fighters? He stays a permanent member. In other words, their last drummer.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you say?
20%.
Wow, man, we are so split. I'm going to go opposite of you in this one. Like, yeah.
Well, and go ahead.
All right.
I'll let you go with
it. No, you go.
So I say that, one, because he's been a session player and played and performed with so many bands over the years.
Yeah.
That I don't know. And even some of the things that have initially come out, he's the touring member of Foo Fighters. They haven't said he's our new drummer. So maybe that goes back to this might be the end, like you were saying. But I don't know that he's 100% in. But at the same time, I saw the video from Boston Calling the other day, where Shane Hawkins got back up on stage and performed with the band.
Yeah.
And you could see it written all over Dave Grohl's face, how much he enjoys him being behind the kit.
Okay.
And I think, he's still a young guy.
It's a good story. I see where you're going.
That Josh Freese is a fill-in until they feel Shane is ready to take over his dad's throne.
I'm going to go 75%. I am going opposite of you on this one. Okay, so first of all, money. So like Foo Fighters is guaranteed money.
That is true.
Stability, as opposed to being a session or hired gun. So saw a great Netflix or maybe it was Amazon Prime documentary. One of those streaming services. If you can see that, that documentary Hired Guns, it's fantastic about session musicians like Josh Freese. But so that's kind of like my first piece to it. But I also feel that, especially like how Taylor Hawkins was brought into the Foo Fighters, and if you see their documentary Back and Forth, when he describes really kind of being a session drummer, even for Alanis Morissette, and coming into the Foo Fighters and finding that stability and how much it felt like family and home, it seems like Josh Freese is cut from that mold also, and playing the same style of music as a session musician in different bands over and over again. And, as an accepted member now of the Foo Fighters family, almost like what you saw with Metallica and Some Kind of Monster, right?
Yep.
In that documentary that, they've changed their ways, although the Foo Fighters never had to change their ways like Metallica did, that you become a part of that family and are a permanent part of that family. So that's why I see it as more permanent. Those two reasons, money and stability, and then that sense of family and feel.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why we are like opposite on everything so far. All right. I like it though.
Makes for better conversation.
All right. Where are you on that one, Mr. Salisbury?
I don't think he's going to stick.
Yeah.
He jumps around too much.
All right. All right.
Last one. What are the odds that we will get to see our Foo Fighters show at Merriweather Post Pavilion?
We had tickets. We had tickets before the tragedy. We were so excited.
And they were phenomenal seats.
We did. We had amazing pit tickets for that.
Yep.
Yeah. You want me to go?
Like 5th or 6th row?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Sucks.
But I'm going to make you feel
ahead.
good about my answer. I think we're going to agree on this one. 100%. He is coming home. Now, if it's the only thing, okay, I would say 99%. If he would venture away from Merriweather Post Pavilion, but I can't imagine that he will. On the 1% chance that he does not go to Merriweather Post, we'll be seeing him somewhere else in DC. But this is home. Foo Fighters are a DC band. We're going to see him.
I would agree. I'd say it's somewhere up in that range, 99, 100%.
There we go. We finally agree.
Venue agnostic. It's going to be somewhere. And hopefully we have equally as good seats.
Right. Well,
they're going to cost twice as much as they did then. But
right. And it's not like we didn't, save a penny paying for them.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So definitely. And I'm excited because I've said it before. I know you've seen them a bunch of times, but I have not seen them live. So I
can't believe that.
It's unbelievable. Different time of my life when they were out and touring.
Yes.
So
the first time I saw the Foo Fighters, it was a local venue. It's no longer around. If you remember, Fox 5 News shut it down. It was the Nation downtown, and they did not sell it out. Off of their first, basically they just released their first album, and it was amazing. Yeah. So we're going to go see him. So I think we've ended Odds Makers on a great note. We ended on an upbeat, positive note.
For sure.
Jeff Salisbury, you want to chime in on this one? Scott? Are we seeing him?
I'm rooting for you. Yeah, you're going to see him.
All right. Yeah, we're going to see him at the Salisbury Center?
Yes, definitely. Acoustic.
That would be awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the newest edition of What Are the Odds? And again,
Very split.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Good odds for the...
It's better to be divergent than to just agree
on
across the
everything.
board. Yes.
It's great for the people betting. If you are betting on this, you're going to win either way.
For sure.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, coming into this segment, we want to hear from you guys. So those of you catching this live, hit us up on Stand Up and Shout Rock Show on Facebook, the Instagram, or email us at standupandshoutrockshow@gmail.com.
We're going to be back 2 Wednesdays from now.
Yep. The idea is we're going to get on a regular cadence. We're going to do shows every other Wednesday for now, and hopefully it continues to grow and blossom, and maybe it's a weekly thing. And anytime there's a rock event at the Salisbury Center, we'll also be
Here too. Make us a
promoting
part
the
of
bands, talking to the bands.
Yep.
Wanting you guys to get out here and experience some live music and hang out with us, but also, have a good time.
Make us a part of your Wednesday night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
It was a great time, Kevin, as always.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thanks to Scott behind the glass, and we'll see you next time on the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show.